sports and Bob Soper weather.
County's Carver's Ranches.
The wide-open drug trade in Carver's Ranches, a police task force moved in. Tonight, News Center 7 reporter Steve Dawson begins a two-part report on the sheriff's undercover effort to clean up drugs in that southwest Broward community.
Got a question for you. What are you doing over here?
I come over to buy a bag of grass.
Came over to buy a bag of grass?
Yes, sir.
Well, I appreciate your honesty. Did you buy one?
Yes, sir.
You did? Step out of the car, please.
Friday, January 29th, the 14th day of the Special Task Force's efforts to clean up the street-level narcotics dealing in Carver's Ranches. It starts, like every other tour of duty, with an arrest. In the first 10 days of this task force's assignment, police made 70 arrests and busted one dealer 3 times.
Is that all you bought? You ever been arrested before?
The officer making this arrest, John Candler, saw the marijuana being sold. But he elected to stop the buyer rather than pursue the dealer, who ran around the corner and out of sight as soon as the unmarked police van was spotted. The dealer got away.
Hey, you want to turn around and put your hands on the car?
Police are stopping the dope selling by focusing on the buyers, who for the most part are white. They're stopping them for traffic violations and looking for enough probable cause to arrest the driver and search his car for drugs.
What we're trying to do is, by these arrests, deter them from coming back and let them tell whoever their friends are that have gone down there in the past that if they go back there this time, they'll be arrested for almost whatever charge is feasible at the time.
The traffic stops we saw support Collins's theory that white motorists in Carver's Ranches are generally there to buy drugs. In all but 4 arrests on this day, police found narcotics. In cases where no drugs were found, the driver usually admitted he was in Carver's Ranches to buy drugs. Although it's easier to stop the buyers than the sellers, street dealers are starting to feel the pressure.
The nickel bag of marijuana Robert Powell bought here this afternoon cost $6. The dealer said next time it would cost $7 because things are getting hot in Carver's Ranches, so the price of marijuana is going up. To show how organized marijuana dealing is in the ranches, the manila envelopes in which the marijuana comes have trademarks stamped on them. This one is stamped with a Playboy bunny and the word Playboy under it. It signifies the Dixie Playboys, a gang which lives and operates out of Carver's Ranches.
The task force mixes up its hours, working at night as well as during the day. On this traffic stop, police found no drugs, but again it was clear to the deputies the young man driving the car came here to buy drugs because police say he fits the profile of the typical drug buyer. A slow cruise through the area, passing the locations where drugs are usually sold, and having the exact amount of money to buy them ready in one pocket.
It's very typical that the whites will come in motor vehicles, drive slowly through the area, trying to flag down any blacks standing on a corner to sell them marijuana. And then that's coupled with the $5 individual in their pocket is usually a pretty good presumption that that's what they're here for.
Nowadays, police knocked off about midnight, and they'd made 12 arrests, 26 charges, 8 of them felonies, the rest misdemeanors, and they'd recovered 3 stolen vehicles. Busier than the typical days, what they told me.
What can we expect in tomorrow's report, Steve?
Well, tomorrow, have you ever seen, can you see this?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This is what police describe as a stash bag for the dealers. It's manila envelopes filled up with cocaine, and occasionally there's some tin foil with, manila envelopes with marijuana, tin foil occasionally of cocaine, except this isn't marijuana, this is chopped up palm fronds. And last week, in Carver's Ranches, chopped up palm fronds, like this stuff here, dust, was being sold in place of marijuana for $5 and $6 a bag per manila envelope. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that tomorrow.
Effort to stem the tide of wide-open street drug dealing in Carver's Ranches, the Special Sheriff's Office Task Force has been concentrating on discouraging drug buyers from coming into the southwest Broward community. Tonight, News Center 7 reporter Steve Dawson tells us more about the plainclothes operation and its latest plan to zero in on the street-level narcotics trade.
Thursday, February 4th, a sheriff's office task force has been working for 20 days at slowing down the street-level dealing of narcotics in Carver's Ranches, a predominantly black residential neighborhood in South Broward. The men are preparing dummy nickel bags of marijuana using chopped-up palm fronds taken from a bush outside the Hollywood Satellite Courthouse. The fake narcotics will be sold by Deputy Nat Brown, posing as a Carver's Ranch's street dealer. Selling chopped-up palm fronds in place of marijuana is only one of the devices being used by these deputies to stem the tide of wide-open drug dealing in Carver's Ranches. For the most part, the deputies have concentrated on traffic enforcement to discourage mainly white drivers from the streets of Carver's Ranches. Using this method, deputies follow motorists waiting to spot a traffic offense. The driver is stopped and police check his license and registration. If either one is invalid, the motorist is arrested, his car impounded, then searched for drugs. Police say this method will eventually discourage white motorists intent on buying drugs from coming into Carver's Ranches. But this man said he was on his way to a radiator shop and being stopped has only made him angry at police.
I think it's an inconvenience to me. If it help cut down on drug traffic, I guess it's a good thing, but it's an inconvenience to me, and I'm not happy about it.
With his papers in order, this motorist is given a traffic ticket for failure to properly signal a turn and is sent on his way. Deputy Nat Brown, posing as a drug dealer and carrying envelopes stuffed with palm fronds, is now in place at Southwest 48th Avenue. Before the task force began its work in the ranches, this location was one of the busiest sites for buying drugs. Deputies say traffic has slowed down a lot. Nevertheless, within minutes, a buyer comes along.
What's up? $5
Almost as soon as this transaction ends, another buyer pulls up.
Want a price, pal? Yeah.
Within seconds, these two buyers are arrested by policemen waiting around the corner. The charge is solicitation with the intent to possess marijuana. Throughout the early evening and into darkness, the deputy continues to wait for buyers, but they are few and far in between. And after 5 hours and only 4 arrests, the operation is pulled in. Police point to the lack of buyers on what used to be a site for intense street dealing as a sign their tactics are working. But this task force is small and inadequately equipped, and none of the officers believe that their operation will permanently wipe out drug dealing in Carver's Ranches.
It would take a real strong effort on almost every level. Uniform patrol, units like the one that you've been involved with the last couple of weeks, and again, the organized crime unit would have to get involved.